Calvin Anderson, Student Empowerment and Stop Stigma Now. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well.
What's your name, please?
I'm Andrea Barthwell. I'm a physician and I've been practicing in the area of addiction medicine for 40 years.
Wow, that's awesome. What are some of the things that you're involved in right now in terms of that position?
Well, right now I'm trying to launch a network of providers to provide competent behavioral health care to individuals who work for self-insured employers. So those employees and their families would come to us and we would match them to master clinicians across the country so that their problems could be addressed and they could get well and recover.
That's awesome. We have a mutual friend and giant in common, and his name was Dr. Beny J. Primm. Could you please tell us something about his contributions to the field of addiction research and treatment?
Oh my goodness. So Dr. Primm, I remember my first meeting with him. We were at a ATOD meeting. It's Hampton now, but it was called ATOD at the time. And he was watching a tennis match after the day's sessions, and he loved tennis. And the Serena and Venus Williams were up and coming at the time. And he was just so engaging with everyone. What I remember most about Dr. Primm is how much of a very refined gentleman he was. How he understood that he was working in an area of medicine that was stigmatized, but that he worked to elevate everybody in that area in all that he did. He was able to speak truth to power at the highest levels of government, nationally and internationally, but you could spin him around 3 times on any block in any city in the country, and within 3 minutes he'd be connected with people, and people would be hanging on his every word. He was precise about the way he described this disorder. He was precise about what was needed to treat this disorder, and he was clear about what he was intended to do to help people repair their lives, restore them to mental peace, physical well-being, and personal productivity. He was just such an example for us in medicine. I remember one of the first projects I worked on with him was to create training and education from people from a variety of disciplines when he opened the Office of Treatment Improvement, which is now CSAT. And he brought in some of the greatest minds of addiction medicine to create the office, and his legacy continues today. No matter who follows him in that office, they'll never do the job that he has done, but they will always do the job that he intended them to do because of the way in which he established that office. And you can't forget his work in Brooklyn and Harlem with ARTC Start Now, the influence he had on a number of us who were youngsters in the field at the time. Lawrence Brown, Warren Hewitt, me, Andrea Barthwell in addiction medicine. I had the privilege of awarding him the Friend of the Field Award from ASAM on the occasion of my being inducted as their president, and being able to share this podium with him, given all that he had done for us and for medication treatment of opioid use disorder and the rest, was something to see. Lawrence Brown was following me as the president-elect, and the 3 of us stood up on that ASAM stage together and forever changed the work that the American Society of Addiction Medicine was doing. I could talk all day about Dr. Primm and how he dressed, how he carried himself, how he respected others, and the compassion and respect with which he dealt with individuals who had opioid use disorder.
Well, I would like to consider this the first of a series. The next battery of questions I'd like to ask at another time would be about co-occurring addictions and the fentanyl, heroin type of cocktail that we're trying to mitigate at this point in the middle of pandemic. What is your name again?
Andrea Barthwell. But before I close, we can't forget what Dr. Primm did for people with HIV/AIDS.
Yes.
And the fact that he was on that first President's Commission and he held them to task and making sure that we had the resources that we needed to work with that disorder in the substance use treatment arena.
And how do we contact you?
I'm available at drbarthwell@gmail.com, drbarthwell@gmail.com, and I'm also Dragby, DRAGB, on Twitter and Facebook.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.